I made some of these videos before. I made quite a few in different ways before. I'll continue to make them. But I've been giving thought to the rearing of my children and to the way I was raised. And I don't know, I look at it and I go, what are we really doing? And I don't mean that as a dictator. I don't mean it as a guy who sits above the fray. I don't. I sit right there with you, possibly below. It's not what I'm looking at. One of the ones that I really see is future. The little guys, our kids. Yeah, the little guys. Why do I use the term little guys? I use the term little guys because that's where you have to start. Yep. You have to start. How do you start? You don't let them get their way. Right from the start. A year old, 2 years old. They don't want, they cry. I'm not saying babies shouldn't cry. I'm not saying they shouldn't get their way at times, but they should not get their way every single time and use that as a defense mechanism against either teachers or professors or mothers or fathers or grandparents or what, other family members. No, I disagree with that wholeheartedly. The reason why I do, we've got a lot of technology today, tremendous amount. I'm a guy that believes in it. I'm also a guy that disbelieves in it. Not that I disbelieve in technology per se, but I believe in what it's doing to our young society, children, young adults, ones going to work in the workforce, the under 30 crowd. I feel bad for them. A lot of things are going to happen. And they're going to happen very quick in their life. And this is how it goes. This is why I'm saying the little ones. You start with the little one when it's young enough to understand. And you discipline them in the proper ways as a proper mother and father and disciplinarian should do. You don't overindulge them and you don't underindulge them. You give them rewards for doing things that you feel they've helped you with, they've done properly, their grades, whatever the case may be. But you know where our cross comes, our particular cross we carry comes when we rely on technology too much. And by that I mean they're young. Remember I started using Start Young 1, 2. 3 years old, I had a grandson. I had a phone that was broken. He's now going to be 16. I had a phone, an iPhone. Couldn't work, didn't work. 3 years old. He said to me, Papa, give it to me. Here's a guy like me, figure, 12, 13 years ago. I said, what? He said, give it to me. I said, why? He said, I'll fix it. I said, you're not going to fix it. What are you going to fix? He said, Papa, please give me the phone. Well, after a little bit back, I gave him the phone. I don't know what this little guy did, but he went, opened it, whatever he had to do, boom, 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 touched it back and forth, click, 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 gave it back to me, and within a minute or less, he said, pop up. I said, yes, you want to try it? You know what the answer is going to be, right? It worked. Are we starting too young, you think? I don't think so. I don't think so, and I say it with a big grin. Because, think, as I go through this film, this video, of that little 3-year-old. And that was 12, 13 years ago. How about 12, 13 years advanced toward your time? How much more technology and how much more knowledge they've gotten? Possibly 2, 1.5, 1-year-old. Start young. There's a time, there's a place for everything. You got school you have to do, which is for your benefit, for your education, to make you a better person, make more money in life, live a nicer life, whatever it is. But there are things way prior to that we got to remember. And in my video, I'll be possibly giving you a little schoolwork to see how many videos you've been watching of mine. How about the clock, the watch on the hand? Do we look at the hand on a watch like the children are looking at you at a dinner table? Think about it. With possibly what? Earbuds in their ear? Listening to their, favorite music, whatever the case may be, while they're having dinner? Well, this is a time for what? Communication time. This is where you really get to know each other. Your kids get to know you and vice versa. This is important stuff. Where does it start? I keep using the beginning. Way back. Way back. They don't do it at 1, they don't do it at 2, they don't do it at 3, they don't do it at 4. I don't think they're going to be doing it at 5, 6, or 7. Experience? Yep, possibly. When you talk the talk, you got to walk the walk. I have 3 children of my own. They're all grown with children of their own and so on. Thank God they're doing well. But I'd like to think that a little bit of credit is my wife, mine, that we instill certain things. Now, you could say to me, that was a ways back. Yeah, absolutely. And that's a very good point if you're thinking that way. It's where I want you to make these comments into me, because you should have comments. I should be receiving comments on this video, if nothing else. And I'm getting them. But in this one I should, because I'm going to be sparking a lot of questions you're going to have to answer, or I guess you could just turn me off, or you can tend to bury your head in the sand. And hopefully, with the grace of God, they'll turn out to be fine, upstanding human citizens. I hope to God you're right. I'm not saying that there aren't a lot of parents out there that are doing a fantastic job raising their children. They're taking it responsibly. 2 that I use, and I'm not trying to be wise. 3. One that I don't see as much, he's in Europe, but they're doing well. But the ones here, their children seem to be communicating with them. They seem to be having dinner with them. They seem to be using all of their various and sundry types of, internet, whether it be phones or iPads or computers or what. But they're using them in moderation. In other words, there's a time and there's a place for everything. A dinner table is not the time nor the place. A dinner table is a time for family to gather, to show communicative skills, to show love, to show respect, to show desire, to show want. They want to be there. But then there are things like a guy like me looks at. How's their eye contact? Have they got their head buried in their plate, or listening to music or whatever that you're allowing. My home, there were none. In my children's home with theirs, there are none during certain hours. Now, what I've been reading and seeing and hearing on television and other things, which naturally Will Rogers say, I only know what I read in the papers. I don't even know if some of you guys understood what that is. Maybe a little too old. But he doesn't really know anything until he reads it. Well, I don't know. If I'm reading relatively correctly, I'm understanding that our children are on some device close to 6 hours, 5.5, 6 hours a day. A day. Ladies and gentlemen, there are 24 hours in a day. I don't have to tell you that. We break it into thirds. 8 times 3, my multiplication table, my teacher would be very happy to see that. It's 24. While if we do 6 hours, we've almost did a third of our day, or 75% of that third, and going up in exercise that is not related, oh yes, could be related to their knowing music better, to their knowing the internet better, to knowing possibly terrible things that are on the net, shows that they should not be watching, doors in bedrooms that are locked. There's no locking of a door in my home, never was, never will be. We didn't lock the doors with my father, my kids didn't lock the doors with me. They don't lock the doors on them. They don't lock doors on their parents. Kid goes in that room, that's my room. I pay the mortgage every month. Don't tell me. You're telling me when I can enter my own home and not? That doesn't wash. Does it? Or again, you just sticking your head under the sand. Not that hard, guys. It takes a thing called WORK, work. Yep. It takes a little bit of work on all your sides. Your wife, your husband, your wife, the siblings, teachers, grade school, high school, professors, colleges, postgraduate, friends. It takes work. We don't have that communication. We don't have that hearing. So everybody has to be involved. It's a joint effort, a big joint effort. When does it start? I've said that a few times, at the very beginning. If we don't get them with the earbuds and those phones, when they're 2, 3, we're dead. Unless we have what we call rules of the house. Yeah, rules. Like when I go to school, there are many schools that say, leave your phones outside. Can't teach. Distracted. Where's the concentration? The schools may be bad. I will put that forward. I believe in voucher and private schools. That's my personal self, but that's me. I don't know. We have to help one another here, don't we? They're at the table. You're talking to them, mom or dad or sister or brother, whatever. You're talking to them. They're not paying attention. Why? Where are the rules to the house? Who is the head of the house? I think it should be both, the husband and wife, or depending upon your situation, just a believer in that. We have to make the rules. And the rules are simple. Or you can make them difficult. The more difficult you make them, the tougher they're going to be to keep. You're going to be at the kitchen table. It's not going to be a command. It's not going to be a demand. It's going to be a conversation. This is what's expected. And there's going to be hopefully agreement between a husband and a wife or a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever the case may be, whatever your other half is. It doesn't matter. They got to set down the rules. The rules. Come to the table. No cell phones. No internet. No buds in ears. No calls. No anything. Not during whatever time you set up. Dad gets home or mom gets home at 6. Till 7:30. 7 o'clock, say. There's communication. Have something to say. Ask them about their day. Let them ask you about yours without forcing. Why don't you ask me about my day, son? No. It'll come. It'll come to you. Can't force it, shouldn't force it. Anything is forced. It's like a backward bending arrow. You pull an arrow back. It's called an askew. It makes that bow. Where's it going to want to go, that arrow? It's going to want to leave that bow, and that string is going to come back to center. It's just the way it is. The law of physics. I don't write these rules, but I observe a hell of a lot. I see a lot. I think there are many out there that really ought to get mentors. I did life coaching for a while too. Talk to people one-on-one. I'm not doing this to make tons of money, believe me. My effort really is to make you guys come to a realization that we have a problem. And the only way we're going to solve our problem is not to bury our head. It's to confront it and face it. If you've been listening to some of my videos, you will hear those words reverberated in some of them. And you will continually hear those words reverberated in the remaining videos that I will make. All about helping you help yourselves with our biggest asset out there, our children, our future. Think about a legacy you've left to a child that graduates high school and has the mentality of a 9th grader or an 8th grader. You think you've done a good job? You think he or she is ready to go out to college? And because of college, yes, college does give you something. For me, it gave me the ability to know that I could start and I could finish with a degree. That showed accomplishment to me. That's how I viewed that. Plus, a few more dollars, hopefully, with the education was not bad. And I enjoy school. I enjoy reading. As you can see, I enjoy talking. Listen. Hear your kids. How are they doing in school? Listen. Listen. I got a tape on that. You ought to catch it. It's on one of my videos. Hearing. Hearing. Do we hear what our children are saying? Do they hear what we're saying? This is a process, guys. If you think together, You beautifully put a little package of 2 or 3 of these little guys together, and they're going to grow into whatever you have conceived in your mind on their own. You're in for a very, very, very rude awakening. More than likely, I won't be around, but you're going to be in for a rude awakening. It's not the way it happens. How do you learn how to drive a car? Get in and go? I don't think so. I don't think so. Somebody will help you. Somebody who knows. Call the teacher. Call the mother. Call the father. They've got to know what they want before they can give you what you need. You need what they have. It's whether they are able to see it and give it to you, and whether you are of the volition that you're going to listen and you're going to do, not a command, communicative. This is symbiotic. Yeah, it is. You got to work together on it. And you got to see all the signs. You got to work with those teachers in school, whether you like them, whether you don't. You got to go to PTA meetings. Tough, 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 tough. I know it's tough. I know you work. I know things are expensive. They're expensive for me too. I'm not a multi-millionaire. My job is to help you guys. The only way I can help you is for you to listen. Keep your mouth shut. Listen. Open your ears and hear. Open your eyes. Your children are right around you. Watch what they're doing. Talk to their teachers, professors. Go to their sports. Go to their debates. Go to their cheerleading contest. Go. You don't have to go every day, every week, but at least let them know you care. You would be amazed how much a little bit of caring will get you in mileage with your children. If they truly, sincerely know that you care, your job, if it's called that, your parenting skills will be reduced substantially, because they will be easier to talk to. They'll be more malleable. They'll be amenable. But it takes work. It takes give and take. It takes you, it takes her. It takes him, it takes them. It takes grandpa, grandma. Meet their friends. See who they're associating with. In other words, does your boy of 13, 14 have a girlfriend or boyfriends? Do you know? Do you know their parents? Do you know how they're doing in school? These are all what we call little tributaries to that river that eventually flows from a stream to a river into the ocean. They're all little things that comprise and make it up. We should know. But yet, I say it again, and I commend the parents out there that are doing this. And they don't really need this video, although I'm sure they're listening. And they're in agreement, or the majority would be. My thought is this, that the ones out there that are doing the job, they're working at it. They made a commitment to themselves and to God. They made a commitment. And that commitment was when they have children, they know that it's responsible. The responsibility is theirs. Not to pawn them off to some babysitter, not to pawn them off to some iPhone or iPad as their babysitter. This is not for the faint of heart. This is for the people that want and need help. This is not for the faint of heart. I've never been one, never will be one. And if you've read excerpts and read the book and have listened to some of my stories, and there'll be more about Pete's sake. He was the foundation, along with my mother, along with her parents and his mother, the father, wherever he was. But takes a village to raise that child. Think about it, people. You made a commitment to have children. That's what you wanted. You talked about it, I'm sure, prior to. I think it's pretty senseless for a woman or a man to go into a relationship where, let's say the man wants children, the woman does not. I think that should be discussed up front. I really want children. I do not. Well, that could be a breaking point. Or if they go along with it, that could be a point down the road of contention that becomes like a scab that you just can't stay away from. You keep picking. Or that's the lone single nerve aching on your body. Got to think about it. But now you do. You agree. You have them. Now what? Leave them to their own demise? No. Leave them in a crib dirty? No. Leave them in a crib unfed? No. Why? Because the kid would starve. Because the kid would have rashes all over and possibly have another fungus or disease or whatever from that. Not being cleaned properly. Hygiene factors. You do all that, why drop the ball when they get to what we call the walking ages? When they start to get up on their twos? You think they don't need any more help? They need it even more so. They need it more so. You took the job on. Again, I've said it, they didn't ask for it. They did not ask to come in here. I don't know of one fetus that ever said before the mother and father had him or her, I either want or don't want to come into this world. Pretty stupid, isn't it? You wanted it. You got it. Now what? It's like a hot potato? No. Should wear gloves with a hot potato. It's like a hot egg? Probably the same pair of gloves. What I'm trying to say is, just because they turn to the upright position, start walking, and being able to be less clutchy, touchy around 3, that's when the little guy, your nape of your neck, should feel the fur of your hair coming up on your neck saying, oh boy, now the going gets tough, and now the tough have to get going. It's your job. It's her job. It's their job. It's grandpa, grandma. Know the friends, know the mothers, know the teachers, know what they're doing in school, know the principals. Go to the games. I'm being tough. No, I'm not. This is a job of parenting. If you want to turn them out right, and by that I mean if you want to turn them up as good, upstanding, moralistic people with tremendous moral fiber that could add to the fabric and mosaic of our society, that is your job. Or at least that's what I think your job is or should be. That's what my job was with our children. I did kind of a tougher love because that's the way I was taught. Never hit them, but tough. Everything they wanted, they couldn't have. Today, they're doing. Their children are doing. They're working. Kids have got part-time jobs. McDonald's, bakery, whatever. Make them feel and know their worth. Make them feel it. How the hell do they learn if we don't teach them? You're going to leave that all to the teachers to do? The teachers are there, hopefully in today's world, to educate. From the beginning, the first, the second, the third, the fourth, the phonics, the writing, the reading, the arithmetic. Those are the teachers. They should be good teachers. They could be friends with your children. I mean, decorum. Friends as far as teachers go. Good teachers. That's what they're there for. They're not there to babysit, but they are there to tell you. And they probably do tell you in their report cards. If you don't go to their meetings, do you read them? Do you read the remarks that the teachers may have? Or do you just say, the teacher's probably wrong? And then I say, what the hell are you doing sending him to school? You might as well buy him a cue stick and let him go play pool. That's what you're going to end up with. Nothing against the pool world. I have nothing. I used to play a lot of pool. One of my businesses was a bar. I had a couple of pool tables. Nothing against, but is that what you want? I don't know if I want my kid as a pool hustler. I think they're doing pretty good where they are. My daughter's doing pretty good where she is. I see them. We talk to them. We talk to the kids. So what do you think? Think you can do it? Remember, all that eye contact at table. When you talk to them back and forth and they have it and they talk to you and they show you and they listen and they hear, that's all things they're going to take with them. To school, after school, into employment, into interviews. Kid was a friggin' genius in computers. He was a mess when it came to interpersonal skills. Might be a little bit late, or might be a little bit costly. Or, I don't know. I really don't know. That should have been thought out at the start. Remember the old example I used? You get in a car, you don't just go, do you? You don't know how to drive it. You don't know how to stop it. You might want to take a lesson or two. Where do you think it starts? It starts in the home. Where do you think it starts? It starts when they're young. When does it stop? It stops when they leave this world. You'll always be a parent. You'll be their friend. Absolutely. You don't want to be a tyrant with your kids or let them know that you are that way. You're not going to go anywhere. But there are rules that should be followed. And when they are followed and they're done and they do their job, they should be rewarded. I do not mean they should get a brand new Corvette, but I mean they should get whatever the remuneration is for that particular job that they had done well. Schoolwork, whatever. I don't know, guys. I can keep going on and on and on with this video. And I think what I'm going to do is probably cut it here. I'm going to wish my little Laylu happy second birthday. She's 2 years old today. And I'm going to leave you with those thoughts. And I'd be shocked if I didn't get a comment or two. Tell me whether I was good, bad, right, wrong. If you got a disagreement, let's talk. Let's see what kind of gear you got. Let's see if you're even listening. Maybe you're not. Maybe you already turned me off. If I were you, I'd turn me back on. I'd leave me on. I'd be viewing me. If it was me, I'd be watching all my videos because I'm in your corner, man. I'm really in your corner. I want the best for you, for your family, for tomorrow, for our world, and everything that goes with it. God bless you. Merry Christmas. Good night.